Hi, I'm Gavin Martin, and today I'm going to answer a question about withdrawing a lump sum from your superannuation balance under the age of 60. Before I do, it is important to acknowledge that this information does not constitute financial product advice, as it does not take into account your personal circumstances. Therefore, you should not make any financial decision based on this information. You should consider obtaining independent advice before making any financial decisions. So the question that I'm addressing today is, I am 58 years of age this year. I will cease full-time work mid-year and would like to access my superannuation balance of approximately $200,000 in order to pay off the mortgage on an investment property. What percentage could I withdraw as a lump sum? Well, firstly, you need to understand if you have reached a preservation age. Now, if you were born before the 1st of July 1960, you have a preservation age of 55 years of age. So someone currently in 2012 who's 58, they were born before 1960 and therefore have reached their preservation age. The second thing you need to do is understand if you have satisfied a condition of release. Now, for somebody under the 60 years of age, when they cease full-time employment and declare that they do not intend to return to the workforce, that satisfies a condition of release. So the next question is, if you have reached a preservation age and satisfied a condition of release and are under 60 years of age, how much can I withdraw from a super fund? Well, it's a very simple answer. You can withdraw as much as you like. But there are tax implications. So we're going to, in the remainder of the session, deal with the tax implications of withdrawing lump sum balances from your superannuation under the age of 60. So how do you work out how much tax is payable on a lump sum withdrawal from superannuation when less than 60 years of age? Well, it depends on the lifetime limit of that financial year and the tax components of the fund. So what's the lifetime withdrawal limit for lump sum superannuation withdrawals when under 60 years of age? Well, during the 2011-12 financial year, the lifetime withdrawal limit is $165,000. So a lump sum withdrawal less than $165,000 is likely to be totally tax-free. Now, that's a lifetime limit. So if you've made other lump sum withdrawals before this one, then you need to add those to that balance as well. But the $165,000 only applies to the taxable component, because the other components become to you tax-free. The other thing to note is that $165,000 lifetime limit is generally indexed up each financial year in $5,000 increments. So next financial year it might be $170,000. I'm not sure of that figure as yet. They announce it each year. So if I withdraw more than $165,000 from a super when I'm under 60 years of age, how much tax will I pay? That's the next question, isn't it? Well, it depends on the tax components of your fund. So tax-free components come to you tax-free. You don't pay any tax on it. But taxable components under the lifetime limit, they come to you tax-free as well, as we just talked about. During the 2011-2012, that lifetime limit is $165,000. But amounts over the $165,000, over that lifetime limit, are taxed at 16.5%. Now, how do you work out what your taxed and tax-free components are? Most funds these days have online access, and you can check out what both your preservation details are and what your tax components are. So if we look here, with this particular online statement, what I've asked for is a benefit quote. So they're quoting me what the details of my funds are if I tried to withdraw them. Now, here we've got a preserved amount of $1,000. That means that I can't actually withdraw the money. If I've got some unrestricted, non-preserved money, then I can actually withdraw. And this is what we're talking about with the reaching a preservation age and a condition of release. What would happen is that your fund would move from being preserved and restricted, non-preserved to unrestricted, non-preserved, which means you can then withdraw lump sums. That's really talking about the preservation age and condition of release that we've already addressed. What I'm wanting to explain here now is the tax components of the fund. So we're assuming that the fund, the super fund that we're dealing with here, is a taxed fund. Now, there are some funds that are untaxed. We're not dealing with that question at all. So if your fund is a taxed fund, it generally your balance is made up of two components, and here the balance of $1,000 is made up of all taxed components, $1,000 of tax components. Now you might have some tax-free components from contributions that you've made to your fund, personal contributions, or you may have made $1,000 government co-contribution as well. So you may have put $1,000 in to try and get $1,000 from the government under the co-contribution scheme. So you might have some tax-free components in there as well. To understand how much tax you'll pay on withdrawal, you need to know what the components are, taxed versus tax-free. But we're going to walk through a couple of different examples of that. Example 1. So we've got a $200,000 balance in our superannuation fund, and the tax components are tax-free amount of $35,000, taxable component of $165,000. So, because the taxable component does not exceed the lifetime limit of $165,000, no tax is payable on the lump sum withdrawal. Pretty simple. So, because you don't pay any tax on these tax-free components and the taxable component doesn't exceed the lifetime limit, there's no tax payable in this example. In example 2, we've got different components. We've got no tax-free components in our $200,000 balance this time round. We've got a taxable component of $200,000. So in this case, we've exceeded, because the taxable component exceeds the lifetime limit of $165,000 by $35,000, then tax of $5,775, which is 16.5% of the $35,000 exceeded amount, is payable on the lump sum withdrawal. So your net benefit of withdrawing $200,000 in this scenario is $194,225 because we've paid that $5,775 in tax on withdrawal. Let's look at a final example. So example 3 is where we've got $200,000 balance again, but the tax-free component is $16,500 and the taxable component is $183,500. Now, because the taxable component exceeds the lifetime limit of $165,000 by $18,500, then the tax payable in withdrawal of the full $200,000 is $3,052.50. So that's 16.5% of the $18,500. So the resulting benefit is $196,947.50 rather than the full $200,000. Now, in this scenario, we could actually potentially do some other things to get the full $200,000 without paying that over $3,000 in tax. Let's look at that alternate strategy. So we've got the same components, $200,000 balance, $16,500 tax-free, and $183,500 taxable component. What we could do is if we had a low or no taxable income, we could commence a pension and with the full $200,000 and withdraw $20,000 from it. So we can withdraw a pension of $20,000. Now that $20,000, if we've got a low or no taxable income, should come to us tax-free. So what we end up with under this scenario is $180,000 in our superannuation fund or a pension fund, and we've got $20,000 in our bank account that we haven't had to pay tax on. And the components are, because components are drawn down in equal proportions, you've got tax-free components of $15,000 and taxable components of $165,000, bringing us to the total of $180,000. Now, if you withdrew a lump sum amount of the $180,000, because the taxable component does not exceed the lifetime limit of $165,000, no tax is payable on this remaining lump sum withdrawal of $180,000, resulting in a full benefit of $200,000. So, but we've done it in two different ways. We've withdrawn $20,000 in the form of a pension because we've got a low taxable income. We don't pay tax on that, and then we've done the lump sum withdrawal of $180,000 and stayed under the lifetime limit of $165,000. So we've been able to access the full $200,000 without paying any tax. The other way to ensure that you don't pay tax on lump sum withdrawals is you could wait till you turn 60 years of age, because withdrawals at that stage are also not taxable at all. So there's the answer to the question. It sounds like a simple question, but there are some implications depending on what your particular scenario is. If you have a question yourself, a financial question, then I'd really love it if you called in. If you're within Australia, call into 1300 275 428 and leave a voicemail question that I'll answer for you, either via the video, similar to this, or via my podcast. If you're outside of Australia and you've got a financial question, then you need to call our country code 613-9642-2268. Select option 1 again, leave a voicemail question. I'll answer it as part of a podcast or a video. If you want other information, then feel free to go to my website, which is www.cornerstonewealth.com.au. I hope that really helps you.